Wait, don't tell me. How did Paula Poundstone get involved with this, the Peter Siegel?
You know, in the most boring of ways. They called me up and asked me.
Yeah.
And I had never heard of it, which I'm sure they're delighted to hear me say. But this is, I don't know, over 10 years ago. And yeah, they sent me a tape, and I listened to it, and it sounded like fun. And I had a nanny at the time who said, "Oh yeah, you got to go do that," because he liked the show. So I went and checked it out. And at that time, they didn't have they weren't all together in one place. They did it. Everybody was in like a separate radio station, and we were all just hooked up via wire.
Right.
Sorry, I have SARS. So they, yeah. So not too long after I got on board, they had been doing some shows on the road where they would be sponsored by a local radio station to come in, and obviously as soon as they were in front of an audience, the energy that generates for the show is very, very good. So then they found themselves a home in Chicago, which was the headquarters of the show anyways, but like I say, we didn't all have to go there back then. So now we are broadcast from the bottom of a bank in downtown Chicago.
How does it work? How in advance, when do you tape it?
We tape on Thursdays, and we really don't know anything in advance, other than it's based on the week's news. So if someone were smart and clever and had a lot of energy, they could study the week's news and make jokes about it. I do not fall into the smart, clever, and has a lot of energy category, and therefore I really just go. I mean, I kind of study some newspapers on my way on the plane until I fall asleep, and then that's and I'm a morning edition listener, anyways, just for my own edification, and so and I watch McNeil Lehrer whenever I can, which isn't very often anymore because they took it out of Los Angeles.
Right.
But, so yeah, I mean, we're not given we're not told any of the questions ahead of time. The only thing we are told ahead of time is the subject of the bluff story. One person is chosen, obviously, to have the real story. They take the information and kind of make it their own a little bit. And it's a section called Bluff the Listener. And and so the other two write stories that are on a similar theme, but totally made up. And is my least favorite part because it requires a lot of work. But we're supposed to turn it in. They always write us these notes saying, if you could give it to us, in the morning or at this time or at that time. We all just ignore that. We turn it in like pretty much that night.
What do you turn in? I mean,
they want to know the story ahead of time, that the bluff story is going to be. That's the only thing that's done ahead of time. And wait, I take it back. And it's from this little game called Bluff the Listener. And then the other thing is at the very end, they say, they ask us a question predicting something. Like they'll say, what, I don't know, what will they find in, Mitt Romney's top drawer or something, and then we would each say what our prediction was, and then Carl always goes, well, panel. We'll see if those things happen next week on Wait, don't tell me. Those are the only prepared things. Everything else is just. So for me, it's great because I work. I'm comfortable working off the top of my head. I have a terrible memory. The idea that I'm going to memorize something is just not going to happen. The harder I try, the worse it gets, by the way. And so for me, the difference between doing Wait, Don't Tell Me and doing almost any other show I've ever done is that they encourage me to do it the way that it's natural to me to do it. Yeah. Whereas anything else I've ever been on, they're like, okay, don't do the thing that you do, but come do this thing instead. And so I feel like a batter in a batting cage. I just delighted to get lobbed topics and, try to get a little piece of them.
Peter Siegel, is he extemporaneous, or does he really?
Peter has a script. He also goes off the script according to what we're saying. But Peter does have a script. Now they've gotten him a little bit of help in terms of writing. Now I think there's the production staff is up to like 3. But Peter used to write almost the entire thing, I think. And he's very, very funny. So, there's some backbone there to what's going on, even if we come up flat, which has certainly happened.
Some of the cast members, talk to me about those individuals. Like Roxanne Roberts, I mean, I know her in a different world, but what's she like?
She's great. They're all very nice and very fun to work with. And, you know, one of the things that's really fun about that show is no one feels real propriety, that I know of anyways, over the material or the things that come up, or, once one person has an idea, I mean, we all pretty much jump on. And so, one person will say a line, another person will add on, another person will add on. And that's the way we want it to be. Nobody feels, again, that I know of, like, too much propriety over that. And so she's great. She plays to win. She's very serious.
So do you, by the way. You won quite a few in a row here.
I'm on an unprecedented Poundstone winning streak, and I live in fear now as the stakes get higher of being on the show with Roxanne, because if I am on with her, I will lose. Yeah, because she cheats. She.
I'm following you.
Yeah,
I noticed.
You're
on a roll.
Yeah, I and for years I was every time I got a chance to speak about the show, I used that opportunity to clear up that misconception by telling people, yes, I'm trying to win. Because many people seem to have believed for years that I was purposely throwing the match, which was never true.
What about Carl Cat? He's got such a great voice, but I don't think I've ever seen a picture of him. How would you describe him?
Well, at this point in his life, he's a little bit grandfatherly, I think, because he's a grandfather. He's a very sweet, nice guy. From North Carolina. He's got
Tall, small?
He's very tall. He's quite fit. He and his wife travel a good deal and do all sorts of stuff still. He doesn't seem to have, sort of slowed very much. When he tells me the things he does, I'm like, really? Also, we'll be in a location, and he'll say, like, for example, we were in Alaska last year, and so, well, his wife and he said, well, we're staying on for, and then we're climbing Mount blah, 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 and doing this and doing that. I'm like, oh, really? I'm flying home. He's great. He's a very nice guy.
How do they decide the mix? I mean, it's 3 celebrities, plus Carl, plus Peter.
Yeah, I don't know. I end up on, I mean, there must be some rhyme and reason to it, because I end up on about once a month. I don't know how frequently the other people, rotate. If there's somebody who's on a lot more than that, I really have no idea. I wish they'd put me on more frequently, but they won't.
Really? I mean, so there's like a pool of you folks.
I think it's about 15 of us, maybe,
really? Something
like that. Yeah. Maybe more, maybe less, but all really nice. I love being on with Adam Felber. There are nights where I thought they were going to have to take us out and shoot us. We got laughing so hard. There are nights where we were going to be separated. And you wear a headset, and they'll talk to you sometimes, not very often, but they'll talk to you in the headset. And there have been nights where they're like, "Okay, you guys cut it out now. All right, you guys stop it now." And we just got laughing so hard we just couldn't.
Yeah.
Oh, he's great, and I love being on with Roy Blunt. Who's a Southern Gentleman. I believe he was on the first night that I ever won, and I'm pretty sure he threw the match, actually. But in fact, for them, I won at Carnegie Hall one night, and I was on with Mo and Adam, and I'm pretty sure they threw the match that night, too. So, I think there for a while, perhaps I was one of the more pathetic players of the game, but now I learned, just say, marmoset monkeys in their pants to anything, and you might well be correct. That's sort of my default answer now. It says, marmoset monkeys in their pants? Yes.
Yes.
The gong, yes, for 20. You do get a different show when you go to the live show. I don't know if it's better or worse, but you do get a slightly different show when you go to the taping.
How long does it normally go? How long just 2 hours?
We tape for about 2 hours, yeah. And I think the show is an hour maybe. Yeah. So that's a lot of stuff left out.
Hey, I've taken up a lot of your time tonight. This is great, Paula.
Oh, well, thank you very much. It was nice talking with you.
Talking to you.